Oh yes, you're so small and adorable, and almost anything can kill you. You're like a lovable little candle that could go out at any moment, aren't you? Aren't you? What? Can't a guy be honest with his affections?
Alright guys, this episode is going to be a little short, but I just had to do it, I always figured, doing the research that I do for all my different topics, I would come across something that would just get me so excited and so worked up that I would be unable to stop myself from doing an episode that basically constitutes me pointing at something and saying, "Oh my god, look at that thing!" And here we are, about to have me point and say, "Oh my freaking god, look at domesticated hedgehogs." Now I promise that in a handful of minutes is not about to start reviewing cute little animals every other week, nor do we have any plans to start stepping on David Attenborough's toes too much, if we can avoid it. But we have always been about covering perfectly wonderful and horrible things, and if there's one animal that sits at the crossroad between perfectly wonderful and horrible things, I think it's definitely the domesticated hedgehog. I'll be kind and start with the advantages of hedgehogs. For example, of course, they're small, so they don't have to eat a whole heck of a lot compared to a lot of pets. And they're very cute, obviously. That's one of the big draws to a hedgehog. And their faces are sufficiently expressive that you can do the lolcat thing with them if you so desire. Also, it's easy to do a snack that looks like a hedgehog. And pencil holders. Oh, yeah, you can also use your hedgehog as a cheap excuse to show off a bit of psychotherapy trivia. You see, good old Sigmund Freud, as well as 19th century German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer, both made use of a metaphor called the hedgehog's dilemma. This refers to when two parties hurt each other by becoming too close, and yet the dilemma is, of course, if they do not become close, then they feel the hurt of loneliness. Oh, I just remembered, hedgehogs are also good at collecting gold rings. Of course, there's no such thing as a literally blue hedgehog, but they will get very depressed if not given enough space to roam around in. If they have less than 5 square feet, hedgehogs are likely to become depressed and obese and even engage in self-cutting. They're also prone to getting cancer, as well as a hedgehog version of multiple sclerosis, which for them is called wobbly hedgehog syndrome. There's no cure, and eventually the hedgehog becomes completely paralyzed, but in the interim, I guess you could say it's wobbly. Also, it seems that you should keep in mind that a hedgehog has poor eyesight, can climb easily but has difficulty descending, and often does not seem to understand heights. Also, if they get stressed out, they're prone to expressing this through vomiting and green feces. Green feces. Anyways, if you still want to get a hedgehog for a pet, or if you have one, I salute you. Maybe next week I'll review something that freaks me out a little bit less, like real-life doomsday devices, or the prospect of my getting hit by a truck driven by my future self.
Honestly,
And you can't get them a running wheel with bars because then they fall through the bars and they break their tiny legs! Hedgehogs! Oh, God! Fuck them!
Man, what? He interrupted me. Oh, this better not become a thing, or I'll have to stick my hedge dogs on him. They're like regular dogs, except you just have to water them all the time, and sometimes take a kind of saw-like device to their sides to square them off a little bit. Hedge dogs.
Green motherfucking feces on a plane. You don't know him?
You don't know enough about him.
Introducing Sean McClane! Sean McClane, seriously. What a lot of people don't know about Sean is that he has a twin brother who lives in America.
And thanks to NAFTA, he can visit him anytime he likes.
His name is Schwan McClane.
Hey, Schwan.
How's it going?
Hot enough for you?
Are you enjoying that musical you wrote, Schwan Lake?
It was pretty good. By the way, you're pretty cool.
We like you a bit more than Sean McClane.
That was a little shout-out to Schwan McClane.